Welcome back to the Play It Down Sports Podcast. Ooh, we have a show tonight. Apologies up front. This might be a little bit of a longer episode. We have so much to cover. Obviously, we have our first golf tournament of the year, the Sony Open in Hawaii, as well as Brooks Koepka making some news.
Yeah.
He left Live. Now he's back on the PGA. A few people aren't too happy about it. Some people are, some people aren't. We also have the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We have the college football championship on Monday. We have coaches being fired, being rehired all over the place. It's just a jam-packed show. It really is.
You're saying it's podcast night. That's what you're saying.
Podcast night. Podcast night. Remember to
go
ahead.
Microphones too.
We do have a couple changes in the studio. We have some new microphones. I got a nice little sticker over here. Yeah, that's kind of about it.
Yeah.
We have no new hats, sadly, because Gordon hasn't given us the white one yet.
No new hats on the front table.
On the front?
But we do have a couple of new ones on our head here.
So Duke.
Yeah. So a couple of stories on the hats, right? You're wearing a Duke hat. That had been a Christmas present for my wife. She's a big Duke fan. I'm not, by the way, and I know you are. And the hat was not going to work for her, so you inherited it. Brand new hat from the Circus Sports.
She clearly has a normal size head, and I have the pea size head. So you gave me the hat, and I still had to make it smaller. So.
So there's a little critiquing of the hat.
Yeah, I understand her issue could be with the hat because she has a normal size head and I do not.
Plus, I don't think you'd care whether it fit that great anyway.
No, it says Duke. I'm good.
And then I've got a Newport hat on, as you can see.
Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah. So this now, what's the story with this hat? Is this hat? I left a hat at a Marriott Residence Inn in Minneapolis in early August, and that hat was supposed to get mailed back to me. I paid $38 to get that hat mailed back. We talked about that on this podcast. And the hat got lost. The hat got mailed incorrectly. And as a result of that, I followed up hoping to get my $38 credit back. And it resulted in a long back and forth and then a lot of back and no forth, meaning that I sent notes and got no response. And this went on for several weeks. And finally, after calling the loyalty hotline a second time, and then them reaching out to the Residence Inn, I was able to get not only a credit for the $38, but a credit for an entire night, which is about $160. And they promised to get me a new hat.
And so wait. So if I got this right, you stayed in a hotel, you paid for a room, you paid for your room, that you had a lovely stay at that time in the hotel.
It was the golf trip out to Drew Bridger's golf courses.
You then came home, realized you left a hat.
Yes.
So in the span of 4 months, many phone calls, emails, and all this back, you made out ahead and with a new hat.
Yeah, but let's just be clear. It started by them reaching out to me, informing me they had found the hat, offering to mail it, which I thought was a great gesture, and then throwing in that it was going to be a $38 cost to mail a hat, of which I agreed to pay and did pay, and then received a charger from another room that would not fit my phone. And so even though it sounds like I made out, I think I actually probably am entitled to even more for the mental. So I don't know. Anyway, I've got a Newport hat. It's not exactly the same color, but I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have resolved this. And I do, Amit Dutt, who is I think the general manager there, hopefully he's listening to the podcast, because I'll give him a shout out that eventually he made things right.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
We also obviously are here. It is 2026. It's our first show of 2026. We will be going over, we have a bunch of new segments that we're going to start introducing throughout the year. Tonight's new segment is called Numbers Don't Lie, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yep. We've got a couple of more things to cover before we get into the meat of this, though. I saw on the way in that you had a new cat, and I think I was impressed by the way the cat appeared. It's a small cat, but a very friendly one. You want to talk a minute about that cat? Because I was really surprised by some of the details you gave me
Yep.
about that cat.
A while back, we lost a pet. It was due to old age, and I told my wife I would not get another one until much later, and that lasted about a month. And we got a Maine Coon. Look them up. They are phenomenal cats. They are extremely loving. It's a red um, tabby male, red tick tabby, Maine Coon, and
Wow.
he's adorable and loving. My wife works from home. He sits right in front of her on the key,
Yeah, you
right
don't
in
get
front of the
that
keyboard.
friendliness from a cat all the time. So
We also have a golden retriever, Bo, and Ziggy is the cat's name. Ziggy and Bo just kind of hang out
yeah,
and
I
they do
love
their
the
thing.
names.
Yeah.
It's awesome. One thing about the you'll see a bottle of wine in between the two
No.
hats there. So this is a Casa Mattia Winery, a friend of mine. They actually go and make their own wine. I mean, they don't make it themselves, but they actually go and bottle it, right? And they have a membership. And this is a really awesome wine. I just opened up the bottle. They gave me 2 bottles at a Christmas party. It's a thick red grape, and it's called a Tempranillo,
Yeah.
and
I think I've heard.
and it's supposedly an early ripening grape, and it's supposedly in a lot of the very very high end Spanish wines. And I got to tell you, it is awesome. So shout out to the Casa Mattia Winery. So we were going to put that bottle up
Mm,
there, and
I'm I got Stella.
yeah, well, I kind of figured that because it looks like you're drinking out of the La
I got
Bianca
I
chalice
got the
against
LaBianca
to
chalice working.
start the
Yep.
new year. And then the last thing I just mentioned real quickly is my niece Madeline is now an Esquire, which makes her a licensed attorney, and great accomplishment. She's one of our avid listeners. She loves the bonehead section, not so much maybe some of the content on the betting, but she does listen to portions of the
Nice.
podcast. So
Well, it is podcast day.
congratulations.
Um, we will mention, remember to always bet responsibly. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Play It Down Golf for all of our picks, which we have been posting each week, even though we were not broadcasting. But you can also catch us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but make sure you follow us on there as well. I'd say grab your beverage of choice, but we've already discussed that. So
Yes.
let's play it down. All right, here we
Oh,
go.
we can have the listeners drink their
Yes,
beverage of
please,
choice.
please drink them. Okay, our first thing we're going to discuss is our one and done contest. We are running a one and done golf contest. The QR code is on the screen. The link will also be in the description. But please sign up. It is free to sign up. There'll be some quarterly prizes. There's going to be a first, second, and third prize. Obviously, you don't have to buy anything. It's just free to join.
It'd be fun.
It should be fun.
Yeah.
So please just it's run through Run Your Pool. Just sign up if you use Run Your Pool or Splash Sports, whatever they're calling it nowadays.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
just go ahead and sign up and play along, and let's have some fun this golf year. There's over 30 tournaments. We are not starting it until the
Waste
the
management
Waste
open.
Management
Yeah.
Open. So we're not starting until February 5th. So you have a few weeks to sign up.
And it's good because we've got a couple. One that started this week, we're already
Yep.
in, and then another one in 2 weeks. So these golf contests are starting to heat up. You and I love being in the ones where there's a lot of players in it, and
Yep.
they're well run, and we're hoping that we have a good one here ourselves.
I'm gonna use my data golf knowledge and try to pick some winners.
Yeah.
I so far so good with my pick for this week. I got Harry Hall in our one and done contest, and he's only
He's off to a good start.
he's three off the lead.
That's a good start.
Yeah, good start. So we'll
I'm
keep
stuck
going
with
that.
Corey Connors, and he's even
He
par.
is
So
not 3 off the lead.
no.
He's about 8 off the lead. That's all right though. Uh, uh, so yes, please, QR code on the screen, link is in the description. Please sign up for our one and done golf contest.
Even if you don't know golf.
If you don't know,
get
just
in.
play along. It's always fun.
Yeah.
We have a new segment. Numbers don't lie. So here's some numbers that I grabbed and figured we could discuss. So we have a little slide up here that shows you a couple things that we're going to talk about. Obviously, the Jets defense, because of how inept they are. And as a sad Jet fan, I have to discuss it. Also, I have the transfer portal chaos. Over 34%. It was over 4,400 players were in the transfer portal as of January. I think it was January 3rd, January 4th. The portal opened January 2nd. So within 2 days of the portal opening, over 4,400 college football players were in the portal.
Wow.
I have one down here in the lower left, 1,000 yards each, passing, rushing, and receiving. And you guess who that was? It is one person. It's the only person to ever do it. And it happened, the one stat they were leaving was receiving. He did not have 1,000 yards receiving until this year. Any guesses?
I probably know the answer, but I'm not going to say it.
Think Saints. Taysom Hill. First player to ever have 1,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards, and this year he surpassed 1,000 receiving yards.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Especially for a guy who's not in the game very often.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a stat that most people wouldn't think about, right?
And he's got about 2,400 rushing yards, 2,400 passing yards, and now he's got 1,070 receiving yards.
Because most of the time he comes in for rushing around the goal line,
and every now and then he'll throw a pass. But he's been
you know what it is? Year. He also had a period there where I think he started a few games, which I think helped probably buoy that up, right?
Well, through injuries and stuff. He did.
The receiving is impressive.
The receiving is what's impressive. And we have a couple of stats about Bo Nix, which we'll go over in a little bit. But for the most part, in 2 years, he's got 24 wins, 20 plus wins. He's got over 7,000 passing yards and over 50 touchdowns. It was the touchdowns that blew me away.
I mean, I was listening to a program on the way up where they were talking about this Bills-Denver game coming up. And I got to be honest, his stats, the way they've manufactured production out of him is amazing. Because he is not,
I don't see it.
He does not rank highly in almost any category for a quarterback. And yet he's thrown up unbelievable, wins and stats, right?
Numbers don't lie.
No. I mean, I guess if you started getting into average, the amount of average per pass and things like that, he's not going to look good.
Right.
But when you're just looking at the final answer, how many wins and how many touchdowns and yards do you get? It's impressive.
It is. First one we're going to dive a little bit deeper into are my New York Jets. So if we look at the 2025 stats for the New York Jets,
it's a nice looking scorecard. It looks
it's
like some of my handicapping scorecard.
Results. It's so bad. Oh, my Ducat is so nice, but those numbers are so bad. So obviously they gave up 29.6 points a game, which was 31st in the league.
For a team that's supposed to be defensive oriented too.
Well, it's not like they have a defensive coach, right? Aaron Glenn, right? He wasn't on. Oh wait, yes, they did hire a defense coach
coordinator.
They're giving up 355 yards per game. Passing yards is only 17th, but let's be honest, that's only because they can run all over them. But they traded Quentin Williams, and then that D-line got even worse. But the most pathetic stat are the takeaways. They were last by a mile.
With no interceptions, right?
0 interceptions. Yeah. They had the 31st worst
there's teams
defense.
that get that in a game, Scooter.
Yes.
They get 4 in a game.
4 for a season. I mean, those are Rich Kotite era New York Jet numbers. Rich Kotite, for anyone that doesn't remember him, was a one-and-done coach.
He had a good pair of glasses, though.
Yeah. He had those sunglasses working. However, Aaron Glenn does still have a job, even though of all the coaches we've put in our podcast this past year on the hot seat, he's the only one to still have a job.
Here's the thing. You put him on the hot seat.
Because he should be.
I know, but he is a first-year coach. So generally, you don't can a first-year coach. It doesn't happen very often.
Can Kotite is the only game they should have won 2 games. They really should
I
have won
should say,
0.
you know what? New England canned their coach after
Yes.
one season,
Yes.
and look at where they are today.
Exactly.
So I shouldn't say it doesn't happen because it did,
It did.
and that is a credit to Kraft,
When you know it's not going the
right?
way you want,
But
you make
who are you taking as an owner, Robert Kraft or Woody
Woody
Johnson?
Johnson. I'm
I
taking
mean,
Johnson. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't know. It's just sad and
I think you
pathetic on
just
every
move on.
level.
This is a terrible looking slide.
It
Just
is.
push to the next
All
one.
right, let's go to Bo next. So I put up Manning, Brady, and Mahomes to compare to Bo Nix. So obviously, when you look at wins, Brady and Mahomes had more. Now these are their first 2 years as a starting quarterback.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So Brady won 25 games, Mahomes won 26, and obviously Nix has 24 wins. Peyton only had 16, but I think he was
Yeah.
2-14 his first year.
Right.
I will say they only had Peyton and Tom only had 16 games in a season, not 17. Their
Peyton's
first
got
years.
as many commercials as he had wins the first 2 years.
I think he has more.
If I have
think
to watch
he
another
might
one
be
of his
endorsing more than the
commercials.
16 company. Motivating Manning. Let's go.
It's not motivating me watching him. The mic drop and all the other crap he does.
When we look at passing yards, obviously Mahomes is the standard there, but he had 7,700 yards. Brady was only 66, but Brady was more of a game manager. They had such dominant defense.
He was a game manager his whole career.
Yeah,
Amazing.
pretty much. Obviously, passing touchdowns. It is impressive what Mahomes did his first few years, but just as impressive is what Bo Nix has done, especially for someone who really doesn't think he's that good. Clearly, I just don't see it
There's
yet.
a lot of people who are split on whether they think he's good or not, even in Denver. I mean, I think it's one of those things where you do see that team go quarters without being able to do anything. In fact, there was a stat, and this is they're in the top 3 or 4, if not at one point the top 1 of punts.
Wow.
Of actually punting the football.
Yeah.
Now you look at a game like when they played the Giants, they were down 26-8 in the fourth quarter. They did nothing for 3 1/3 quarters in that game. And then he piled up multiple touchdowns in the last 9 minutes of that game. And so I do think there is an issue of how steady and consistent he is within a game and across games. That 13-11 game against the Jets overseas comes to mind. I mean, they 10-7 that Thursday night game we suffered with.
We suffered. That was
so
horrible
we're throwing
game.
some stats up here that are impressive, but I got to tell you, if you watch him in certain nights,
that's why I think this is so amazing because I just don't see it.
Yeah,
it's like I don't believe it, but I know the truth.
Right, because the numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
Right. Well, I hope they lie this week when they play the Bills.
So do I. So
we got a huge ticket that
we do.
We got live on that.
Chris, gentleman I work with, is a huge Denver fan. So I've been dogging him all week. The Bills are taking him down, but I can't lie. But I think they almost called me to see if I could be a receiver this week because they had like no one left.
I know.
But Josh
we'll
Allen,
probably get to that a little bit more.
We're running with you, Josh. Come on, Josh. One more. You can do it.
One and then one and then one.
And then one, and then one. And let's talk transfer portal. College football transfer portal. Now, I don't know if you saw it today, but some news did come out today. Well, 2 big headlines were today. One, which we can touch on briefly, the whole betting scandal.
Betting thing, yeah.
And I will say this. There's all this talk about, are these bets, this happens all the time. There's too many games. You don't know if these scores are legit, blah, 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 blah. Now, the FBI did this whole investigation. And in the 2 years that the investigation covered, which is the 23 and 24 seasons, they found that 29 games were compromised, right, with point shaving. There were over 12,000 plays. So this isn't an epidemic.
It's definitely not.
This seems to be more like a one-off. And again, the one thing
if you're someone who doesn't bet on sports and understand that, you read that article and you think the whole thing's compromised. If you look at the teams and everything that were listed in today's, like Kennesaw State, like these are schools, many of them,
right,
that
aren't big programs.
They're not big programs.
Clearly, they're not the Power 4.
The reason that this came up was if you look at that and you look at where that money was placed, that's why it was identified at some point as, hey, there could be a problem here. Because if you're betting on Alabama A&M and you're going up to the counter
Four
with
hundred
a
thousand.
with a $400,000 bet, it's going to raise a flag, right?
Well, now again, that was the total, but they were doing like
Yeah,
30 or
they were
40,000 at a
figuring
time.
chunks, but
Right.
still,
But
it's
still,
still
no
that's
one's
a
betting 40,000 on a team, covering a spread
in the
for the
first
first
half,
half.
right? Right.
But that I was going to say, that's the one benefit of legalized gambling
Yes, because it
because
captures.
it catches people.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other big story about college football today was the basketball moved their transfer portal window. It will no longer open during March Madness.
Which I think is great.
Phenomenal.
And they should be doing that in football too.
Absolutely. And I think they'll fix that
Right.
next year. They have to. Because you can't have 4,400 people by January 4th
You're
in the
ruining
portal.
every bowl game, and you also shouldn't let coaches. The whole thing
I
should be
agree.
shut down.
Everything should be shut
Yeah.
down until the playoffs
Well, we
are
just
done.
solved the problem.
We did.
Are we on the committee?
We should be.
Yeah.
Again, we can solve a lot of these problems, people. The slide shows you with 3,942. That was as of today. So the 4,400 was as of January 4th. Obviously, some people have left the portal. Some people have.
Yeah.
And there's probably about 500 just left the portal. Out of those 3,942, 1,927 are committed, which is roughly half. And here's a couple to break down. Obviously, QBs, 246, 122 have been committed. Running backs, and there are the numbers. I don't have to read them all.
246 quarterbacks
Entered.
and there's only 300
total program.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I'm looking at the quarterback. Like there are in NCAA number Division I. I think there's kind of like in football 120 or 130 teams that are legitimately in that whatever it is, the FBS. But I don't know how you have that many quarterback because I think these court teams that are 3-4 deep on quarterback, these guys just keep moving around,
Yeah.
trying to find a home.
Well, look at the Nebraska quarterback. He was going to Oregon until Dante
Yeah.
Moore said, "Wait. No, I don't want to go to the New York Jets. I'm going back to Oregon. I'll take my $3-4 million
Yes.
and stay for another year."
Good decision.
I want to also shout out CFBdepth.com for all the stats. It's a great website for a ton of the transfer portal information for all the sports. Football
Good job
and
there,
basketball.
Scooter, looking into all that.
But it's a great stat. Now we also we'll pivot to a new topic, but we'll keep it in the football realm. Let's discuss coaches. I have no slide. I have nothing.
Yeah.
But let's talk coaches. So obviously, the coaches that we had on our hot seat, which was obviously
We
Tennessee's
had them in
Callahan.
a lot of these guys were on the bonehead segments.
Yes.
That are no longer coaching.
No longer coaches. So we
Jonathan
had
Gannon,
obviously
Brian Callahan.
Dable.
Yep.
I had Aaron Glenn, but he's still a coach.
Gannon, we didn't think was going to make it.
I didn't think Gannon was going to make it, and he didn't.
Right.
And obviously McDaniel, he's out as well.
Yeah, it took a while, but he's out.
I was surprised
how long
it took a while.
Yeah.
Like I thought, I just assumed
he's supposedly a hot commodity to either be a head coach or an offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator, I could definitely see in the right spot.
That he's got skills.
Yeah, because he had guys playing for him, even when it looked like he was. And then he interviews. He's kind of boneheaded the way he interviews sometimes. I think it's almost by design, though. He just wants you listen to him, you're like, this guy is like ramble, something. I don't know quite how to describe it. You have to listen to his interviews.
You don't. But I like McDaniel. I like McDaniel a lot. I was impressed with Miami. I had Miami over 8.5 wins. After week 3, I thought that was dead. Which again, ultimately it did die.
Yeah.
But it got a heck of a lot closer than I ever thought it would. His players played for him.
The one that did get there that was ridiculous was Minnesota's.
Yes.
Season total wins was 8.5, and they were 4-8.
They had a great
they got boat raced by Seattle.
They were great
completely boat raced and won 5 games in a row for 9-8, including beating the Lions at the end. Now they beat the Packers when the Packers didn't care
play
at the
anyone,
end. But they
helped.
They they took Detroit out when Detroit needed the win to try to stay in the hunt, and they were winning games, that you
I,
wouldn't expect them to win.
I want to thank Brian Dable because I did have the Giants under 4.5 wins. Let's go. They got the 4.
I
Did
would
not get
say,
the
well, as
5.
bad as my handicapping was on game to game, some of my futures plays.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to have that up here this week, but there was a lot of things that happened that were good and that's a way to maybe look at the season. I might bet more this way is like look at
Yeah.
a long-term bet where you can have the bet for the whole season. You put a little more money on it because you're basically spreading it out. The one bad play I had in the NFL was Tyler Ferris's New England
Yeah,
Patriots,
you had
and
under,
I
right?
had them under on
Yeah.
an alternate under, and they blew not only that, they blew the alternate overs away.
Yep.
And as we know, they could go to the Super Bowl, that
Yep.
team. So it is but what the futures allow you to do is have an interest in every game, and you're not having to figure out you figure this out at the beginning of the year, and you can do it in season too, but it's a lot more fun if you can kind of pick the right teams early and then just ride that out.
Yeah,
That's why I like it that way.
I think the biggest disappointment for me was Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
How they didn't get there. So
And
I had Tampa
you
Bay
had
to
them
win
to win the
division,
division?
and
Yeah.
they should have won that 3 times, and they never closed the deal. Very upset with that. However, I did have Jacksonville, and that actually the Jacksonville money I won almost covered all the losing future bets I had.
Yeah. You picked the right ones. I mean, I had the Chiefs to miss the playoffs.
That was a great
That
one.
pays,
That
right?
pays.
I had Denver to win
Yeah.
that division. Those 2 bets were enough to cover
Oh,
most
yeah.
everything I
And
did.
I hit a couple others. Obviously, I hit Jacksonville. I hit I didn't hit the Bills, but I hit Philly. Who else I hit? I didn't have Seattle. I actually had the Rams, so I
I had
missed that
Seattle for
one.
the
But you had
division too.
Seattle for the
Yeah.
division.
I mean, that
So
was
yeah, some our future bets actually weren't
they were good.
they weren't
were
too
strong.
shabby.
No.
So one of the as we wrap up the NFL and coaches, one thing the news just dropped today that Harbaugh is going to be getting the
Giants. We
Giant job.
love us Giant fans love that. That is you know what? They couldn't have walked into a better situation. There was a guy who listens to our podcast, Tim Shepard. Shout out to Tim. He said he was ready for a change in Baltimore. He's a Ravens fan.
Yep.
And I think he made a comment to me that sometimes even the best leaders, he even said great leaders, and you could argue Harbaugh is kind of been a great leader, Tomlin too. They just kind of, at some point, they just sort of their voice gets lost because they've been there a long
You just
time.
sometimes need a different voice.
You just need to move on. And I think for Harbaugh, as soon as he moved on, there's all these teams that are like, this guy's still only 63 years old. He's got another 5 to 10 years in him.
Oh, he's
Easily. He's got a decent, but he looked to me a little de-energized on the sidelines in some games this year. And sometimes it's just better for everybody to move on. Doesn't mean he's not a good coach. He's been very successful. He's won a Super Bowl. I don't think he's lost his ability to coach.
no.
So
and again, and I also like the fact that I mean, he got rehired immediately.
And he could have. I mean, I thought he might take a job more like Atlanta, where that team is a little more on the cusp of being able to really maybe get to the playoffs and Super Bowl. At his age, maybe that's what he'd want. But he seems
I would have
fine.
liked him with Cam Ward too.
Yeah, now that would have been more of a project because you got the whole team needs to be lifted up. But I think the Giants was a great landing spot for him. Yeah.
As a Jet fan, I'm gonna have to watch him win playoff games while my Jets, go 3-14.
You're underestimating Aaron Glenn. You thought he was going to go 0-7. What was it? 0-17. He pulled out 3 wins this year. So
well, he pulled out 2. I'll give you 2. One, special team scored 14 of the 17 points. The offense put up 3, and it was against Cleveland, who only put up 14.
You still give him the credit. He's the head coach of that team. You can't take that win.
I give the special teams coach credit, not him. I'm not giving it to him.
All right.
All right. So some interesting coach movement that we got going on. Now let's have a little fun. Let's talk a little what we started this podcast as, which is golf. We have golf in 2026. We have the Sony Open in Hawaii.
Right now.
It's on right now. Round 1 was today. I'm going to pull up, see who actually is in the lead. We have round 2 tomorrow, but the weather is going to be a little iffy. So if you look at the slide I got up there, we have the weather,
The
not
wind,
temperature-wise,
it's
but
the
it's
wind.
the
Yeah.
wind. Tomorrow and Saturday, or Friday and Saturday, you got 10 to 20 mile an hour winds, and then Sunday they're a little bit better. Today they were blowing a little bit, but not too bad. So right now, right now we have Nick Taylor.
The guy who won it last
Won it
year.
last year.
You know, I dismissed him because I'm like, he's not going to do it 2 years in a row.
Him and Kevin Roy are tied at -8.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have some bets as well. I'm gonna bring up the bets. Let's bring.
Which,
those
by the
up.
way, these bets have you can't get in at these odds anymore.
You
You
cannot.
could maybe better odds on some of them.
Yes.
Depending, right? Corey Connors is going to be a lot
better. Might be a little bit higher. So we have Nick Taylor, Kevin Roy tied for first at -8. I did have a nice little 3-ball bet today. I'm going to mention. Chris Gotterup, Ben Griffin, and Russell Henley were in the same group, and I took Gotterup to be the best in that group.
Good low ball hitter, which is helpful in the wind.
It is, but sadly Ben Griffin tied him, so I got dead heated, but I still made money.
I'm gonna have to deal with this Ben Griffin thing. I might just have to get on board with that guy this year.
I know, because you were fading him big time last year.
Now he's -7 today, and I'm gonna have to just like get on board with him. By the way, I think some of my odds got cut off. I hope people don't think I bet Corey Connors at 3.
At plus 3,000, yeah, 30 to 1.
There's a 0
missing to 1. There's a couple of zeros missing there. Maverick McNeely, I think, was plus 350, and Ryan Gerard is plus 500.
Yeah, that's for top 10. Yeah,
for top 10. I have Ben Griffin top 10. Oh, yeah, and my Robert McIntyre at top 10,
and that's good too. Your picks are looking a little bit better than mine. I think.
What is McIntyre was doing good? Did he fall off? He must have fell off because I can't find him.
I mean, the whole idea with this handicapping.
Oh, he's -3. He did fall off. He's 26.
I mean, that's still okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea is you got to make the cut, and then from there, anything can happen if you're inside of 8 to 10 strokes. The handicapping here really was just get guys that are good ball strikers, right? It's not a lengthy course.
No, it's short. It's only 7,000 yards.
You want to be a decent putter. On the grass, and you want to be, on the is it bent grass on this one? I'm trying to remember.
No, it's not. It's Bermuda.
Yes, and that's the problem is that some of these guys are better on the bent grass than the Bermuda. So, but the ball striking, to me, what I was looking at when I picked guys, and I didn't pay, and Corey Connors is not a good putter. He's improved. And I bypassed that a little bit at this tournament because I know his putting stats have improved. I don't know whether Bermuda bent grass, like that's really something I probably should have paid more attention to. I looked at their ball striking, and all these guys we've got listed here, I think, but Brian Harmon and Connors for sure are good from like 150 to 200 in 150, 175 type approaches.
And as I'm watching this, I'm actually watching Corey Connors drop. He went from 71 to 73.
Well, yes, because he's not playing.
I know, and it's still going.
Well, it's going to drop because he's even.
He's even.
But there's not a better really ball striker than him. But his issue's been the putter. And your Harry Hall pick, I mean, there's a lot of the professionals who liked him this week.
Yeah, I liked him. Again, I used Datikoff. I look at the stats and I move some things around and I look for a little bit of value and I saw value in him, so I went with it. Tony Finau, though, is +5.
Yeah, he was even for a while. Let me ask you just a question on this with the whole Bermuda bent grass thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you put that into your model, did you see that there were guys that were better on one surface than the other that sort of popped up in your model, or was it?
What I have the option to do in the way the program works is I can put more weight on putting.
Of course, right.
So what I do is when I know it's Bermuda,
type of putting is that doesn't give you that.
But I know if I put more weight on putting when it's in Bermuda, typically those are the harder greens to putt on, so the better putters.
So you're more likely on Bermuda to weight the putting, and that could be the issue that I miss, because if it's harder to putt and a guy like Connor struggles with a putter, your theory is he's more likely to not have the 3-putt avoidance. Right. He had the 3 putts. Yeah.
Morikawa's +2
Well,
today.
he's been. You know what? I'm not. That guy needs to do something before I put
Yeah,
another
he
nickel
needs to
on him.
join Live.
He's well, maybe join something. He's got to do something
Gotta do
with.
something.
He cannot. He's not playing. I mean,
Yeah.
people are still betting him. His odds were like 20-1, and I'm like, and they thought that was good value, but he's got to do something in one of these. He was terrible last year.
Yeah, he was.
I won't
He
put
was.
it until I see a result from him. I'm not putting any money on him.
So I have a two player parlay with Nick Taylor and Chris Kirk to be top 20. I need Chris Kirk to do something. He's even as well. He's with your boy
Corey. And I picked Kirk as a little flyer, which is not listed here, but I added him this morning to be round 1 leader. He's obviously not going to do that.
No.
But he's had success on this course.
A lot of people like Aaron Ray too, and he's not having. He only went -1, so he's just on the cut line.
I
He's
think
gonna
we
have a better
can
day.
move on.
Yeah,
Now,
we'll move on. Sorry about that.
One of the things though, Scooter, that we may move this during the golf season back to Wednesday, right?
Yes.
So we can get our
So we'll get the
our
picks on
out
time.
there and talk about these a little more seriously, because I was pretty weak on my handicapping of this one.
Yeah, and I will say, please, again, follow us on Instagram. You'll at least see our picks before when
we don't get a chance
if we don't get a chance to
yeah.
record beforehand. So yeah, that wraps up golf. Also, we will flash back up I'll just do it right here real quick. Please use that QR code for our one and done contest, and sign up for that as well. Well, what do we got going on this weekend? We have on Monday night the college playoff championship. Miami versus Indiana. Showdown for the title.
Yes.
Now, the spread, last I checked, was -8.5.
Yes, I think
It
still
moved
is.
all the way up to 8.5. It started at 7, then went to 7.5. Now it's all the way down to
Miami's getting zero respect.
Zero.
Yep.
So this is a good time to actually bring this up. So Tom and I both, the second Miami made the playoffs, we both put them in to win. I think it was 30-1.
Yeah, 30. I think I might have even got mine up to 35 because I found a spot where, you could get a portion of a boost.
Okay.
But it was 30-35 in that range.
I know I'm at 30-1. So I have a bet in for Miami at 30-1.
We both have that. Yes.
Right? Now, what do we do?
The problem,
do we hedge it? How are you going to hedge?
You can't really hedge it. I mean, there are people there was another, I was listening to a couple of stations, the VSiN station. There was a guy who did the same thing. He had Miami, right? And he's talking about, well, I'm going to hedge this thing. It's actually, I mean, if people listen to VSiN, it's Jensen Lewis. He was a closer
he's great.
for the Indians.
I love him too. I listen to him. He's on Money Moves sometimes all the time.
Yeah. The thing he has too many picks, in my opinion. He fires an awful lot of plays. And he has the situation where he's got Miami as a future. And he's talking about like, well, how do I hedge this? This is what I'm thinking of doing. It's creative, but he's linking it to another game and teasing the line. Yeah. And the problem is that the other side of that teaser fails.
You're out.
You're out of Miami. And then if you're Indiana hedge, you've teased Indiana to a point where maybe they're -1, where you get it very close to, there's no middle between Miami and Indiana. So you're good there. But now you've linked that to a second game to try to generate revenue. I don't think there's a way to hedge. And this is the problem I faced a lot with my futures too. You get to the point where your team makes it to even to the final 2. We're going to have this situation if the Bills make the Super Bowl, right? We have a future on the Bills. When they get there, if they are the underdog, like Miami is, you got to lay so much juice to hedge that. You're basically playing like a 3-1 favorite in Indiana to make a little bit of money, so that you don't get nothing if Miami loses. And to me, I'm just going to ride Miami. I'll do an in-play.
That's what I was going to say. You're all you can really do is hope Miami gets the ball and scores first, and that money line just drops a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. You need at some point.
There's no other way to hedge it.
There's no other way.
No.
If I had bet a lot on Miami to win it, if I had a substantial amount, like we have I mean, we have a $2,000 bet on the Bills because you won the contest for the blackjack, so
Yeah,
it was free money,
that's significant
right?
money.
That's significant money.
Right.
So yeah, I'll lose some.
Well, it's 2,000. We have more than that riding on
Oh
that.
yeah, but that's essentially that's the risk, right?
Yes.
It would
Yeah.
have been a $2,000 bet. So I'm saying if I had a significant risk on Miami, but
Then
I
you
don't.
might think about
I,
it. Right.
I threw $20 on it. So what am I going to hedge?
Yeah.
40 to win
Yeah. I think a lot of it does depend, but even if you were, you know, let's say that you put a heavier bet on that. My problem with hedging that is you're giving so
You
much. If
are.
you believe in Miami and now you're going to give back a 3-1 against you odds so that you can make some portion of that. Yeah, you want to monetize your ticket, but you got to do it in a way that's smart,
Right.
right?
So
It's
really,
it's
our
it,
only bet is our only hope is that Miami can score, maybe
right.
jump out to a 7-0 or 10-0 lead, and then you jump. And now I can drop,
Yeah, you want to get some points
I
on
can drop
Indiana.
$20 on Miami, and I know I'm going to win back the $20 I have on. I mean,
Yeah, and
25.
at the end of the day, that doesn't really
It's
help you.
right.
But
You're just not. You're
right,
just not. Look,
I
you
I
just don't want to walk away with nothing.
right. I think it's more. It's not so much the dollar amount. It's more the challenge of trying to do the right thing mathematically for me. And I think that some people may have more dollars riding on it, and that may change how you view the hedge, right? Like if you have
Yeah.
it's like if these contests, if you've got a chance to win, I give an example, circa contest, people are about ready to split $3 million each, and what's in front of them is one game, and they just need to have bet the underdog to, win $1 million. You're going to do that, right? Because now you're talking about so much money that you absolutely have to figure out a way to, you know, to make money if you actually are not going to win the bigger prize.
Yep.
So I do think the situation matters. I think the amount matters, but at the end of the day, you've got to look at all of that together and decide whether it makes sense to do a hedge on a bet or not. And
Uh,
for me right now, I am not willing, and I'm also a little bit tired of this whole Indiana thing.
listen, Mendoza. What was those last 2 games Mendoza just played? I haven't seen anything like that since Joe Burrow and LSU.
I know. I just
It
feel
was
like
impressive.
they've been handed, like Oregon hand if you hand another team a touchdown 11 seconds in on a pick six.
But that's a defense.
Ah, I
But
I
I'm not saying, but
I just
the
want to see
kid's
that team
impressive.
I want to see that
I
team
would
get
like to
into a
see them.
tight position
I
where they
agree.
have to actually perform instead
Listen,
of
they beat Ohio State 13-10.
I think they beat them even worse than that actually. But in that championship game, I think
Yeah, I
the
thought it was
score was
13-10.
yeah.
You might be right. I thought I looked it up and it was 13. I'm
No,
gonna check.
they have created their own breaks. I get that. I'm just, I feel like they've been a little bit overvalued, but at some point they are what they are.
Listen, they're
Right.
winning. Anyway you look at it, they're winning.
All right. Well, I think we can move segments. Anyway, I don't have a play on this game that I would put out.
I
Right.
don't either because
Right.
I don't know how I would make a play.
Right. I just think here's the one thing I would say. Miami's defense has delivered in every single game. This is a team that wasn't supposed to be in the playoffs, according to some. They got into playoffs. They've got a tremendous balanced team.
13-10.
And that was the final.
13.
Okay. And they basically have gotten themselves in the final game against Indiana. Against Mississippi, they had to do it with some offense because Mississippi has a very strong offensive team. But they basically have controlled most of these games with their defense.
And we actually had both them to win the whole
Yes, we had futures on Mississippi and Miami, and I also had a parlay future on Oregon with another team. Indiana's just standing in my way of everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but I don't have a play either. It's going to be an in play if anything.
I don't like the total
probably
either.
throw on
The total's
some
at
props, but
47, and I know a lot of the experts like the under. I just have a hard time taking an under on a game, where a couple of defensive touchdowns or things could happen. 47 seems like a light
it
number,
does seem a little low.
but it's not a game to make me
I
go
took
over.
a game that was over 47.5. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Kennesaw. Hate you. Okay, enough. So that's the college football playoffs championship. That is Monday. Enjoy the game. Again, we have no real play for it. We'll probably do something in during a live
All right.
in
We have
play.
more. We have more in play just because we got a future on
Yeah.
Miami. Yeah.
Let's talk NFL football. We have the divisional playoffs this weekend.
Yes. we do.
Some good games going on. Here's what we have bet wise, but let's look. I'll let you start. I'm sorry, I drew a
Okay.
blank there for a second.
I mean, so these are the. I mean, these lines are completely crushed at this point, meaning that they've been beaten up. You know, San Francisco at one point, I got 7.5 in my account.
Did you?
Right? Yeah, early in the week. And I think this thing really ought to be more like, personally, I think this thing ought to be more like 6 points. But San Francisco is a team that I feel like now you've got this division game again between the 49ers and the Seahawks. I tend to take the points when you're talking about a division game. Now, I am always going to take a home dog. This is a home, obviously not a home dog in the 49ers. And the last time 49ers were a home dog against Seattle, they lost.
Yep.
Just a couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks.
So it's hard to make a case based on that particular game. But my feeling here is that the coaching and the experience of the 49ers, who have been in the playoffs before, and you got Kyle Shanahan against McDonald, who's been in the playoffs last. Did he make them last year? I think he may have. If not, no, I think they might have just missed. I think they were 10-7 and didn't get in. I feel like the experience of that team getting a touchdown, and in my account on this play on the podcast, it's 7, counted 7.5. You're going to give me that level of points in a playoff game. I'm going to take the dog. I know you're on the other side of
I
it.
am.
And then
Kittle's the reason.
And then the Texans, I think, rely too much on their defense. I know the defense wins championships is the cliche, but I think the Patriots are the more balanced team.
I just think they're better.
And this is a team that basically I threw under the bus at the beginning of the year, but they've now proven to me through game after game after game that they are not a fraud. Right? They may struggle against the Texan defense, and they may lose this game 16-13 or something. But I just feel like a game inside at a field goal like this and home, and the momentum they're playing with, and I feel like the Texans, even though they're on like about a 9-game winning streak, the way they played against Pittsburgh offensively,
they
were turning the ball over. Right?
They had 5. They could have had 6 turnovers. They ended up with 4.
I don't know that means they're going to get that, just because of that means they're going to do the same thing. All I'm saying is that they were not impressive and have not been that impressive offensively. And Stroud's not been that impressive. And Collins is out, their best receiver. Yep. And I just kind of feel like New England's going to have a lot of power behind them in that home crowd. I like the coaching edge with Vrabel. And I just think New England's going to win this game by more than a field goal.
I totally agree.
The double dog dare you money line parlay. I had to merge this with the college game.
Yeah.
Now, again, we said we didn't have a play on the college game, but this is not a play on a single bet. This is a parlay to get some juice at about 6-1, and that is to take Miami and the Bills. So if you get this game on Saturday with the Bills, you now have a chance to cash in if Miami beats Indiana at a 6-1 bet. The Bills are now an underdog by 1.5. So that line went from the Bills giving 1.5 to the Bills, giving 1.5 to the Bills getting 1.5. Yeah. So they are now turned into an underdog. I kind of like that.
But that's because the receiver went down.
Maybe, but I think it's more because I think that people feel like Denver is the better play here. The rested team, they're home. They had the better record, and the Bills have been injury. They're wrecked with injuries.
They're wrecked,
right?
Yeah, they got their second best receivers, Brandon Cooks, who has been there 6 weeks.
I know, but he's a good receiver.
Yes, right? But he's still been there 6 weeks.
And they've got 2 good tight ends, and they've got the best, one of the better running backs in the league.
Yeah,
I feel like that they're being a little. Not disrespected, because you could argue Denver was disrespected by being an underdog to start. But I feel like this is the team with the most experience that's left in the playoffs, right? From the standpoint of the American League, right? Or Yeah, the American League, right? So you've got, um, New England and Denver and the Texans. The Texans have been there 2 years in a row. This is their 3rd year.
Mhm.
That would be the argument to not taking New England, but I'm doing that
Well,
because I just
I
believe.
think I like New England there. I think they're the better team in general.
Yeah,
I do think Vrabel's a better coach than Ryan.
right.
So I mean,
What we're doing is we're basically creating a story where I'm saying experience matters until it doesn't.
yeah,
And that's what I just said.
yeah,
The Texans are in there for the 3rd year in a row. Stroud's been in there, and they've been reasonably. They won a game last year against the Chargers, but I still like New England better.
I
So
agree.
I'm just, sometimes you just do what you think is
Yeah,
right here.
I agree. I got again. I have the opposite than you for the Niners. I actually like the Seahawks here. I think Kittle going down is going to be a bit of a blow to the Niners. I don't think
Definitely.
they're going to recover. I don't. I wish it was 6.5. Clearly, but I did get it at 7. But I will take the Seahawks over the Niners. Again, I've been riding Sam Darnold all year. I'm going to ride him one more week, and I think they're going to get it
Do
done.
that at your own peril.
By the way, I still do have him for MVP. I know he's not going to win it, but I still have a ticket for it.
I have McDonald for Coach of the Year still. And
Yeah,
that's a live
that's
ticket, but I
absolutely a
think
live ticket.
Vrabel's
I
gonna
think
suck the
Vrabel.
life out of
Yeah,
that
I
one.
think Vrabel's going to get it. And you know what? He deserves it. I hate to say it because I don't like him.
I don't know that I don't know that that's as definitive to me versus
No one
McDonald.
saw
They
that.
both had 8.5 win totals for the season, I think.
Yeah, they did. They are one. They are the 1 seed, Seattle. So that is impressive.
1 seed, and I think they had. Now I think the difference is New England's wins went from 4 to
Yeah,
4 to
now, but I will
13,
say the
right?
one thing about New England is they truly did have a cakewalk of a schedule. I mean, their win percentage against was something like 320.
Right.
I mean, it was the lowest of any other team. So they did have a pretty cakewalk of a season.
Yeah.
And my teaser, I have the Bills. I teased them up to plus 7.5 over the Broncos. I teased the Seahawks down to -1, and I have a bad slash there, but I have the Niners Rams.
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry,
did a three.
I have
You
the
did a
Rams
three-way
plus 2.5.
teaser.
I do.
So
I have
that
the
gives you
Rams plus
good
2.5.
juice,
I
right?
got plus 140 on it.
Yeah.
So whenever you go to 3, you get plus 140. 2, I think, is pretty much an even
Yeah.
plus 100.
But I think it's a minus. I
It
think
might
you
be a
lose.
minus. Yeah,
Yeah.
it might lose a
Yeah.
little. Might be minus 110, I think, is the 2-team teaser. But I did the 3, so I took the Rams plus 2.5 over the Bears. I don't understand how the Bears keep winning. Even though the win last weekend was
We're so sick of
I'm
so
just
sick of the Packers.
I'm so sick of looking at Caleb Williams. I'm so sick of the Pack. I'm sick of the NFC North.
Packers
I'm
cost
just
you a
sick
lot
of the
money.
NFC North.
The Packers ruined a lot of our opportunity this year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
8-leg parlay. Only team to miss was the Packers.
I mean, I would be okay with Matt LaFleur keeping his job if he could write us all a check.
A check. It'd have to be a pretty large check.
Crippled out of our contests. Yeah.
So speaking of contests and everything else, let's kind of see where we stand. So this is how we went last week. I was 2-0 in the wild card.
I was starting to catch you too.
You were.
This thing that last week was
the
not
week before
helpful.
you went 3-0 and I went 0-3.
Yeah. I felt like I had a real good run going, and then it just collapsed again last week with the Packers.
Yeah,
I had the Packers on the card. Yeah,
I stayed away from that game. So over the last 2 weeks, I went 2-3, and you went 3-2. So you only picked up one game.
Yeah, I mean, this has not been a great year, right? Like if you're trailing our trailing our bets here rather than fading them, you're probably not winning money. Not unless you weighted the bets differently, and we don't have a weighting system.
Nope.
And when we do these,
nope. So obviously our college picks are there.
Which would be an enhancement, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Star rating our picks would be an enhancement next year.
College, we finished the season. I finished 25-24. Tom 22-26. NFL, I'm at 25-27-1. You're at 24-26 overall. 50-51-1 to 46-52.
Yeah.
And again, we have a few more games. We're not putting a pick in on the college. College is completely done. But obviously we have
we'll do a couple
4, 5, 6. We have at least 6 more games to pick.
Yeah.
Well, 4 more because we have 2 this week and we'll do 2 next week.
Yeah.
And that is where we are standing with our pick. Last thing I think I want to bring up is we had so much fun this year with the Circa contest. Obviously, everyone that was following us knows how we ended up doing in the college contest there.
Right.
Third place finish. But we had a bunch of other ones, and I think you have some information about how
Yeah.
why don't we close that circle
Yeah.
and put a little bow on our Circa and Westgate contest for the year.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, these contests, again, the way they operate is you have to fly out to Vegas. You enter them with a proxy service. You submit your picks to the proxy server. We had an outstanding proxy service this year. Great guy, great proxy.
No
Tommy
issues.
Carroll out there in Vegas. Shout out. He doubt he's listening to the podcast. Maybe he is.
Maybe he
you
should.
never know. But anyway, they basically submit all your picks every single week that you send them. And that's the way it's required if you enter these contests. But once you get a process in place, it goes very smoothly. And the 2 major casinos that have them, again, are the Westgate and the Circa. And the Westgate, the one that what was eye-opening to me is we won 3rd place and won significant amount of money in that Westgate contest, right? Had a chance to win 1st place. Now, the Circa contests have bigger prize pools, but I was listening to a segment that it came down to the last week at the Circa contest, and the owner of that casino flew out and or at least put up in the hotel and treat right guys that were survived that were still in it for significant money going into the last week, whether they were in the survivorship, whether they were in the contest where you had to pick 5 games from the NFL every week. There's no college contest at Circa.
Right.
And what was surprising to me was there was one group that was bringing a bunch of people out for the last quarter, of which the winner of the last quarter wins 150,000. Okay. And there was, I don't know, a bunch of guys flying out. They were going to stay in the hotel. They were going to be there for the last week, and they were hoping they were going to be able to hold on to that prize, right? They needed to pick 5 more games.
Right.
And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, we had that much at risk at the Westgate.
Yeah.
And it was Thanksgiving week. We had, family and friends, around for the weekend. And we did not, we
never
basically,
never
we
even
never, we didn't
never
have,
thought
had
about
the bad leg. We had no opportunity to really do any kind of hedging. It was very difficult to do it. And the Westgate was much lower profile.
Yeah.
And yet we had just as much money at risk going into that last week.
1 win,
and it
2nd place, 108 grand.
Yeah. And it was just surprising to me that how our thing was just in our minds. We were just hoping that we were going to get there. And meanwhile, for the Circa contest, you had all this hoopla around 1st place for the last quarter. And it wasn't a dismissal. It was just a difference in how things ended, because I think I'm not dismissing a bunch of guys flying out being excited about $150,000 prize. But the fact that you could hedge that at Circa and there was so much hoopla around it at the end just sort of struck me.
Yeah.
Considering what we were going through on the Westgate College contest.
Yeah, it's probably good we weren't out there. I don't know if I could have survived that Michigan State in front of people.
Well, that's what I mean. It was like I was playing a game of hearts and I made my daughter turn the TV off because I couldn't stand watching the demise. And meanwhile, and that was it was just surreal how much we were involved in that contest at the end. And yet there was a different way that the Circa contestants were managing their last week versus how we were in that Westgate contest. And it's not an indictment, because we could have easily, if we'd had to, we could have flown out there.
Yeah,
we could have done that, right? I will say this, the Circa is very accommodating in their contests. And I think the Westgate is basically, your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, get your check. There's not a lot of, not a publicity on it.
Not a lot of hoopla.
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, one last thing. In the Circa contest, The survivorship is clearly the big one.
Yes.
And that's the one we're looking forward to getting in more
Next year.
entries next
Yep.
year. $18 million, 6 contestants going down to the last week. One of the contestants took the Bengals. And I think there was 2 on Minnesota. One had Jacksonville left, which were able to come through. And there might have been a New England as well. So I think what we had is we had 6 contestants and we had 2 on Minnesota, and then 4 of them were on single
Different
teams.
And 3 of them won.
And, no, 5 of them won.
Well, of those 3 of the 4 that were
3
different.
of those
I'm
4
sorry,
on the single teams won.
On single teams won.
And the Bengals against the Browns, and there was $3 million for each of those 6 contestants if they all got through, and one of them did not.
Yeah.
But because it was circa, they did allow a line of credit to be taken out, and I'm hoping that the team that had the Bengals had a Browns hedge on it.
Yeah,
right.
You have to.
I mean, you can't, because you got to monetize that.
You have to.
Right. But can you imagine if we'd been that we would have been out there for?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Any other thing about Circa? We good with?
I think we can close it. We're going to get in it again next year. Yep. We've got a whole plan to improve what we did in Westgate and Circa, but it's going to be hard to improve the financial position we ended in. So.
Yeah.
Well,
but let's hope we do.
to you again for a great run.
Whew. Didn't lose money. It's all that matters.
No, we didn't.
We did not. That, my friends, is the episode. Welcome back to the Play Down Sports podcast. It is 2026. We are in our 2nd season. We're calling it our 2nd season, but it's really not. We don't.
We might start naming the episodes.
We might.
That has been a Jay D'Annunzio
suggestion.
A guy that I work with at F&G has said, "Hey, good podcast, but maybe you name each episode." So we might consider doing that instead of calling it episode number X.
All right. Yeah. No, I didn't even mention the episode number. Don't matter anymore. We're in it now.
Yeah.
They're coming fast and furious every week. So that is the episode. That's it. Next week, we do have the American Express in La Quinta, California. That's going to be the golf tournament that we'll be discussing. We'll wrap
probably on Wednesday.
Yep. We'll wrap up the championship game and the divisional round in the playoffs. We'll probably start looking at some
celebrating a Miami victory over the Hoosiers.
Miami, 30-1, baby. Let's go.
Hoosiers are going down.
Hoosiers going down. 31. We'll be celebrating my 2 victories. Tom will only be having 1 victory.
We'll see.
In the NFL. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you later.